Out of all of the games that I haven't probably ever will talk about on this channel, Stardew Valley just has something that separates it from everything else. Heavily based off of Harvest Moon, this farming simulator has touched the hearts of more than 15 million people, earning itself the number 3 spot on Steam, and it all started with just one person. The history of Stardew Valley's creation is one which I believe is different from any other game I have ever seen. It was initially released on Windows in 2016, but was then added onto the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch from 2016 to 2017, and again added onto Android and iOS through 2018 and 2019. As mentioned earlier, it has sold over 15 million copies as of late 2021. And, as also mentioned earlier, the entire game was created by one guy. Eric, you're my hero. Eric Barone, also known as Concerned Ape, graduated from the University of Washington, Tacoma in 2011. UW and Washington all the way, baby. He publicly announced the game's creation in 2012 using Steam's green light system. Shortly after in 2013, he was approached by the director of Chucklefish, Finn Bryce, to announce their support of the game. Chucklefish is a popular, UK-based game development company with a fondness for pixel art. Ape spent 4 years working on the project, deciding not to put it into early access as he didn't think it was well suited for the game. In the first 2 weeks of the game's release, it sold over 400,000 copies, an insane amount for any game developer. But the craziest thing is that literally the entire game was created by Ape. The coding, the designs, even the music all came from one guy. I bet a lot of people wish they had half the skills as Ape, like me. Stardew Valley has an amazing multiplayer aspect to it, allowing up to 4 players on one farm. It allows for great efficiency and game progression if, let's say, 2 people go mining and 2 people go fishing. It also has over 7,200 different mods to choose from, including the giant Stardew Valley expanded mod, which increases the game's content tenfold, not that it doesn't have enough already. There are simple quality of life mods like easier crafting and scythe harvesting, my favorite, as well as content changing ones like Stardew Valley expanded and the CJB item spawner mod. If you watched any of my streams, you saw that about 2/3 of the way through I started using mods, which made the game even more fun. No major content ones, just small, makes life easier ones. Finally, the community of Stardew Valley fans is one of the most dedicated I have ever seen. There are countless memes, GIFs, YouTube videos, you name it. The first notable fact you will see when opening up a new game is the versatility of the character creation screen. With a color slide for everything you can think of, as well as hundreds of different options for hair, clothing, and even a favorite pet option. You can also choose your farm type, but it is recommended for new players to choose the standard farm layout, as it has the most space and is easily navigable. The game starts with a cutscene of your grandpa giving you a letter and telling you not to open it until you're ready. It then changes to a panning shot of you working long office hours at Jojico. You open the letter, and it tells you to go to a place called Stardew Valley, where your grandpa has left you his farm. By the way, your grandpa is dead. Anyway, you quit your job at Joja and take a bus to the valley, where you meet a woman named Robin at the bus stop, a side location that is mainly just used as a link between major locations. She tells you that the mayor is at your farm, clearing out some stuff, and you follow her there. You both walk into your seriously overgrown farm, and Mayor Lewis walks out of your house and greets you. Robin makes a crack about the house, and says that you can always upgrade it at her carpentry shop. Now it's finally time to get out of the cutscenes and move on to the gameplay. You wake up on the 1st of spring, year 1. Every day that you play, you wake up at 6 AM and pass out at 2 AM if you don't go to sleep by then. Also, There are 28 days in each month and only 4 months in each year, with each month being its separate season. Inside of your house, there's a TV which you can check the weather and your daily luck on every day, as well as get some cooking recipes and helpful advice. Your daily activities can be heavily influenced by your daily luck. You will also find 15 parsnip seeds from Lewis as a head start, as well as 500 currency, being G. It is recommended to clear out an area to plant your parsnips on, which requires you to first hoe the ground, plant the seeds, and then water them. Not watering the seeds will not make them die, but they won't grow, either. Once you do that, you can go into Pelican Town and go to the general store to buy some more seeds, the hospital, the saloon, the blacksmiths, the library/museum, or Georgia Mart. Even in your new life, your past still haunts you. When you met Robin and Lewis, you were tasked with meeting all of the villagers that live around the valley. Some are harder to find than others, like the wizard, which requires you to start the community center progression, which will have its own section. On the second day of you being in the valley, Willie, the valley's resident fisherman, will send you a letter telling you to come visit him on the docks. Once you get to the beach, it will start a cutscene where he talks about his trip out on the sea, but he eventually gives you a bamboo fishing rod. Fishing is a great way to earn money early game, and it is pretty fun depending on which fish you're trying to catch. The first cast you send out will give you a tutorial on how to catch fish using the small minigame. You basically try to keep the green bar over the fish icon, which is moving around on a vertical bar. The speed and pattern of the movement are different for every fish, with some being trivial like the carp or the sardine, and others taking you dozens of attempts, like the lava eel. On the 5th day of spring, year 1, you will receive a letter saying that the boulder blocking the mine's entrance up north has been removed, allowing you access. If you reach the bottom of the mines at floor 120, you will gain access to another mine in the desert with better ores and more difficult monsters. The desert is a place that is unlocked by completing the vault bundle in the community center, which holds a small shop and the Skull Cavern mines. Also, from spring 5th onward, if you enter town between 8 am and 1 pm from the bus stop on a non-rainy day will activate the cutscene which will start the community center quests. Anyways, the combination of fishing and the mines opens up a whole new world of possibilities. You can cast for specific fish all day and earn some extra cash, or you can go down into the mines, talking to Marlon, the leader of the Adventurers Guild, first to receive your sword. Once you mine your first ores and go to sleep, the next day Clint, the local, socially awkward blacksmith will be at your door, and he will give you the crafting recipe for a furnace, which lets you change 5 ores and 1 coal into a bar of whichever ore you used. You can then sell those bars, use them in crafting recipes, or use them to upgrade your pickaxe, axe, watering can, hoe, or trash can to make them more efficient, break stones faster, or hold more water. In the trash cans part, if you put an item in it, you will receive a percentage of the price back into your wallet. There are also skills that can be leveled up depending on what you do each day. There's farming, fishing, foraging, mining, and combat. Different crops, fish, and enemies give different amounts of experience, but if you just go about your normal routine, they should level up on their own. You can also buy coops and barns to house animals ranging from chickens to ostriches or dinosaurs, but it is a relatively mild part of the game, but can be a great way to make money. There are still so many more mechanics that I can explain in this, but it is a lot easier to understand if you just see them for yourself. As stated earlier, if you enter town from the bus stop during a certain time of day after the 5th of spring, year 1, and it's not raining, you will activate a cutscene. Mayor Lewis will be standing outside of the dilapidated building, and he tells you that it used to be the pride and joy of the valley. He shows you inside, which is even more dilapidated, but a small creature called a Junimo appears behind him so that only you can see it. You tell Lewis that you saw something, but he says that he wouldn't be surprised if there were rats in here. But then the Junimo appears behind him again, and you run over to it just as it disappears. Lewis asks if you're feeling well, and says that he would like it if you would take care of the rat problem. Once the cutscene ends, You can freely explore the community center, but find a strange, glowing stone tablet with an even stranger, unknown language written on it. You're then quested to seek out the wizard south of your farm in Cindersap Forest. Once you enter his tower, you tell him about the tablet, and he teleports over to give it a look. When he returns, he tells you that the Junimus are forest spirits, and that as the wild moved into the building, so did they. He then tells you to drink a potion made of all sorts of plants and stuff, which apparently will let you read the ancient forest language. When you drink the potion, you have a hallucination with trees and leaves weaving in and out of your mind, but eventually the game says that you can feel the forest permeate your body. After that, you can finally read the mysterious tablet, which tells you to bring spring forageable items to the tablet. Once you do that, more tablets will appear, all with more bundles. In total, there are 6 bundles, all with multiple bundles inside of those, with items ranging from a gold bar to a catfish to 20,000 G. Completing all of the smaller bundles inside of the larger ones will reward you with a great prize, such as the Junimus repairing the minecart system that allows you to move around the valley much faster, or repairing the greenhouse on your farm, allowing you to grow any crop at any time. Most people fill their greenhouses with sprinklers and ancient fruit, the third most profitable crop in the game. The reason they plant ancient fruit is because it regrows, unlike the top tier crops, but still sells for a decent amount of money. Once you complete all of the bundles, the Junimus will leave the community center, restoring it back to the amazing landmark that it used to be. An alternative route to the community center is the Joja warehouse. You can buy a Joja co-membership from Morris, the manager of Joja Mart, which replaces the community center with a Joja warehouse. You can still get all of the same rewards that you do from the community center, but you have to pay ludicrous amounts of money instead of items, and you have to live with the guilt of ruining the local businesses, so most people only take this path for the achievement. Once you complete the community center or Joja warehouse, Piers, the local general store, will be open every day of the week, as well as a couple of altered NPC schedules. But the big thing is Ginger Island. The day after completing the community center, you will receive a letter from Willy saying that he wants to show you something in his shop. Once there, he takes you into the back room and shows you a boat that's even more dilapidated than the community center. He says that his grandpappy built it, and that if it was repaired, he could take you to the Fern Islands. All he needs is 5 iridium bars, 5 battery packs, and 200 hardwood. The first 2 aren't too difficult to get, but the hardwood might take you a while. But once you do donate all of the items, Willy will be able to ferry you back and forth between Ginger Island and the valley. Ginger Island is a really strange place. The second you arrive, you will see a small child in rags squawk and run to the east area of the island. If you follow him, you will see a bush with a golden walnut on it, which can be picked up. Go even further, and the kid has a whole tree house built into a canopy. If you give the parrot inside the walnut, the kid will start to trust you. Also, all the parrots can talk really well. Like, creepily well. You can find golden walnuts all around the island in some unexpected places. Once you get a certain number of them, you can give them to parrots stationed on stands around the island to unlock more things. This isn't unlocked by the parrots, but in the north part of the island, there's a giant volcano. It serves as another mine to get ores and fight even more difficult enemies, but it's what's at the top that's special. There are only 10 levels to the volcano mines, but they are much larger and change randomly every day. There's a rest area on the 5th floor with a shop and a quick exit that you have to pay 5 walnuts for. But once you get to the caldera, you'll see a beautiful view and a forge in the middle of a shimmering lava lake. You can combine rings, turning the effects of 2 of them into 1, effectively doubling your ring space, and you can also enchant tools and weapons. You can make them faster, stronger, or cover more area, and you can make weapons attack faster or do more damage, but that's not all. If you have one of the infinity weapons, some of the best in the game, you can combine them with 3 galaxy souls to make it into a galaxy weapon. giving a substantial boost in damage and usability. To unlock the west side of the island, you'll have to pay 20 walnuts to remove a giant turtle. Past it, there's a secondary farm and farmhouse which you can use to spend multiple days on the island without having to pay Willy to go back and forth. The big thing about the farm is that since it's a tropical island, you can plant whatever crop you want in any season without you having to worry about it dying. Again, many people use ancient fruit, but you can also use star fruit, the second best crop, and turn it into wine, which is the single most efficient way to make money in the game. No denying it. There's also a secondary east side to the island, but it doesn't really have anything too interesting on it. Sort of a small section, but you're able to have friendships and partners in this game. You can build relationships by giving villagers gifts, but be careful. Certain villagers like and dislike certain items, so choose wisely. By gaining better relationships and heart levels with the villagers, they'll send you different cooking recipes and random gifts in the mail. Most villagers have 10 hearts maximum relationships, but the bachelors and bachelorettes have 8, with another 6 unlockable after you start dating and marry them. You're only able to marry one person at a time, but you can actually date multiple at the same time. Let's say you're dating every single bachelor in the game, no matter the gender. Certain criteria need to be met, but if you walk into the saloon, it will trigger a cutscene where all of your boyfriends are in the same place, talking with each other. If you're currently holding a rabbit's foot in your inventory, they'll just be playing a friendly game of pool. If you're not holding a rabbit's foot, however, they'll express their anger and be rude to you for a week. After that, they'll go back to treating the player like normal. To date someone, you must reach 8 hearts with them and then give them a bouquet of flowers, which can be bought from the general store. Once they reach 10 hearts, you can buy a mermaid pendant from the old mariner on the eastern beach, who only appears on rainy days. Give this to your partner and they'll say yes, and that they'll set everything up, and the wedding will be in 3 days. You can also divorce them if you really want to, but their relationship with you will go back to 0 hearts and they'll be mean to you for a while. You can also date and marry same-sex villagers, which is a feature I'm glad the creator added. When you're married, have upgraded your house to include nursery, have been married for 7 days, and have at least a 10-heart relationship with your spouse, there's about a 5% chance when you go to bed every night that you will be asked if you want to have or adopt kids. If you say yes, a baby will appear in the crib and the nursery after 14 days. You can have a second child, but only after the first one has grown into a toddler. You can also turn your children into literal birds if you want by going to the witch's swamp and giving the statue a prismatic shard. All in all, I can safely say that Stardew Valley is an extremely close second to my favorite game. I have almost as many hours in this game as I do Terraria. Most people that I have talked to about just video games in general have either brought it up in conversation or recognized the name. Every time you close the game, it will draw you back. It's a bit too easy to rack up 50 or more hours on a single save file, with the average main story taking about 53 hours to complete with bare minimum work. I will provide links in the description for the download, as well as mods in the wiki of the game, which any player will tell you is an invaluable resource. Also, thanks to my friend Tameable on Discord for helping out with the video. That's it for today. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.